on a number of occasions, I would say, "Oh yes, I'm Harold Seitz," and the first thing out of the mouth of the other person, "Oh, you're Linda's husband."
So Linda and Harold, I've known since I've came to the cathedral. They have always supported the cathedral and the school, going back even to Harold's family.
Back in 1943, my mother put me in the hands of the Grey Nuns.
We went to Christ the King school together. Neither one of us was ever slapped on our wrist by a nun with a ruler.
After the 6th grade, I went to the Marist School and graduated, and then went to the University of Notre Dame. My mother died when I was about 13 years old. After that, my father wanted to have a memory.
It was important for Harold's dad to honor his wife in a very special way. His father donated the altar in the Deauville Chapel, which is a very special chapel here at Christ the King. Harold's family knew the sacrifices that the Grey Nuns made to start what we have today, and the altar would always be a reminder when the cathedral first began, when our school first began.
I became a Catholic in 1985, right before I married Harold. We would go to Mass. We're both working, traveling, so I didn't really get involved in the church until we retired.
Monsignor Frank, he asked me to head up the stewardship committee, and I asked Harold to join that committee. He has a brain that's working at 90 miles an hour. He is well organized, he's full of ideas, knows all kinds of little tricks of the trade in the retail business that we try to utilize in the stewardship.
Someone who brings to the table business sense and can ask the right questions, can ask questions about what we are to be looking at when we undertake a major project.
They come to Mass and they're observant about things. That's the origin of an idea. I looked at this, can we do it better?
Sometimes you have the person that has the idea, and then you have to have the person that puts it into place.
But Linda figures out, if there's a goal.
She knows how to get there.
Yeah.
She puts so many different systems in place and procedures on how to do things. A CEO.
Linda's attention to detail is amazing.
The Flower Guild Linda started it with a dear friend of hers, Jane. Just had a great sense of style and loved flowers and thought that the main altar could be more magnificent.
Priest ordination is coming up, and would it be possible if we could have different flowers for the priest ordination? A, I don't know anything about flowers. B, I don't arrange flowers, but I could organize, I can do the Excel spreadsheets, and I could do the emails, and I got the idea to raise the money to pay for the flowers with the names in the Sunday bulletin.
Then the word of mouth traveled. Linda had a great personality and a great sense of style, and I think people wanted to be a part of something that she formed. 95% of the volunteers have no professional experience. We all have just learned kind of how to do it with a lot of Linda's guidance. I think setting up something like what the Flower Guild has become would be daunting to most, but it has just enhanced the whole parishioner experience here at Christ the King.
Oh yeah, it beautifies the church. It gives you that sense of beauty.
Decorating with flowers is a prayer to God, and it's an acknowledgement of the beauty and the gratitude we should feel.
She stuck to the liturgy calendar carefully, just made sure that everything that was displayed in flowers in the cathedral were perfect and appropriate.
She doesn't do anything halfway.
We go into every hotel. We're going to check out the flowers.
Oh yeah, there's no holding back, Linda. Once she has it in her head.
We needed a star for the Nativity. So I was looking at the Vatican, and I thought, that's really neat.
Being called the Vatican.
Linda was talking to somebody at the Vatican about the star.
I said, Linda, you called the Vatican? Do you speak Italian?
I didn't speak Italian, so I called on my own, found someone who spoke English. She was the architect in charge. I wanted dimensions and how it was constructed. Paraffin coating, which makes it glow at night, how the lights were internal instead of on it. Got all the specs, and then I found a Flower Guild person, knew an architect who then gave me a metal worker who's in Atlanta, and we had that star made.
She's a machine.
And just on a very personal level, she surprises you with a thoughtful gift.
Beautifully wrapped box arrived for my birthday, but that's the way Linda and Harold are. I mean, they are very generous.
For people of their intelligence, see no sense of arrogance or I made it and you haven't. They're humble.
There's a lot of things that we see them do, but there's a lot of things that Harold and Linda do behind the scenes.
The very fact that it's behind the scenes to me says that they're not seeking acknowledgement or praise. They do it out of the goodness of their heart and of the strength of their faith.
They are clearly very driven by their Catholic faith, and there's no question about that.
Their love of the sacredness and how people can experience that sacredness. That's what our stewardship's about.
On 10:30 Mass on Sunday, you will see them sitting in the same pew. And so they come as a couple, and they are very devoted to one another.
When you've one, you've got both, and they work together.
What a huge impact on so many people. They're the dynamic duo, for sure.
It takes one person sometimes to make a change.
Yeah.